Welcome to the PrepNet, presented every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Talk2Me's Channel 14. Come join us to discuss everything about prepping and hear what others have done. All About Electricity Summary. We have discussed the All About Electricity topic for 21 radio nets. We also have 21 expanded presentations and numerous comment and informational videos on our YouTube channel for this topic. I'll provide a quick summary here of what has been presented in each of these expanded presentations so you can see if you have missed anything of interest to you. And please remember, we are not presenting detailed how-to presentations here, but are providing more general information to help you design your emergency power backup. So let's get started. Our first net on the topic was 07A, where we covered saving electricity at home and discussed bugging in. We talked about running only the electric equipment that you absolutely need, as you will not be able to run your house as you did before the grid went down. There were suggestions of what not to run and what you should run. 07B covered saving electricity in the wild for those who would be bugging out. We covered how to provide power while camping out and the pros and cons of each solution. 07C discussed generators, including their types, sizing, and the pros and cons of using a generator. Next, we started our discussion on batteries in 07D. This session covered the small batteries used in portable equipment, such as flashlights and radios. It also explained non-rechargeable batteries and the different types of rechargeable batteries. 07E addressed large battery bank basics, including battery capacity, wiring them in parallel and series, and why you would do that. 07F covered lead-acid batteries, their pros and cons, and why they might not be the best for an emergency battery system. 07G started a multi-part series on building a battery system using individual lithium iron phosphate cells and will get you started in understanding the lithium iron phosphate chemistry. At this point, I created 2 expanded presentations to better explain things that were not easily covered in a voice-only presentation. They were 07 voltage versus amps versus watts versus wire size, which provided definitions of common terms and what they mean. 07, my LFP research, how I got there, helps show you how I got to the point of starting the design of my backup battery system. We then continued with 07H, where we got introduced to the charge and discharge characteristics of the LiFePO battery cells and what can damage them. In 07I, we built an example 12-volt battery from individual 3.2-volt LFP cells. This was one of the few more detailed how-to presentations. 07J discussed how to monitor your battery bank, the individual batteries, and their individual cells, and why that is important. You need to be responsible for the health of your system. Remember, it's not a toaster you just plug in. 07K covered balancing your cells, what balancing is, and why this is important to the health and longevity of your batteries. At this point, I did a net-only recording of 07 group therapy, which points out how much we use electricity in our daily lives. I did this to validate why this series has been so complicated, has had so many parts, and why it is important for you to have access to emergency power. The 07L tells you what a battery management system does and why it is a must-have piece of equipment. In 07M, we covered how I have configured my BMS and why. This will show you how to get the most from your batteries and extend their life. We finally got to charge controllers in 07N, which explained the different types of charge controllers and why you don't just connect your solar panels directly to your batteries. 070 talks about what you need to know before purchasing a charge controller. Picking the wrong one in the beginning can cost you a lot in the future. 07P started a multi-part discussion on solar panels, which included what is a solar panel, what are my mounting options, their pros, and their cons. 07Q covers the solar panel specifications you need to know about. It is important to know these to make sure you purchase the correct panels. 07R is about wiring solar panels to get the most out of your solar array, which is better, higher amps or higher voltages. 07S What system protections do you need to have? Gives you information on what you need to protect your house from fire and your electronic equipment from damage. 07T. How can you power your AC loads? This covered the types of inverters, their overhead, and limitations. Get the one that works best for you. And finally, 07U, powering DC loads from your battery bank. Use DC voltage directly from your batteries to power many of your needed items and extend the time your battery bank can provide you with emergency power. If we mentioned any of the nets you didn't get to hear on the All About Electricity topic, or you haven't watched the expanded presentations, please watch them on our YouTube channel. They are only 6 to 9 minutes long and can be found at youtube.com/@prepnet-talk2me. Also, since I talked about connectors, I thought I should give you examples of some of the different connectors you might use. This will be an informational video and will only be posted on our YouTube channel. Look for 07 connector types. Next week, we'll start a new topic called All About Communications. The first session will start with what is a communications plan, and that you need more than one plan to cover different situations. Future sessions will cover, in more detail, the different types of communications that might be available to you, with their strengths and limitations. If you have any questions about what we have discussed here tonight, please send your question to prepnetch14@gmail.com and enter question in the subject line.